Hey everybody, just another day of surgery, another Essure removal today that I had kind of something interesting that I wanted to share. So there's a lot of women out there that are getting salpingectomies done, that are getting them done. I had a lady in last week who had a hysterectomy, a salpingectomy, then a hysterectomy, and even after those two surgeries, she still had a piece of the Essure left in. So make sure if you're getting Essure removal done, and no matter what you're having done, that you have at least an x-ray done before the surgery. And then also make sure that if you're having a salpingectomy, that they're doing an x-ray not only before, but during the case. So the lady that I had today had actually on the left tube, and I'll show you in a second, it looked like the tube comes off the side, and then it looked like the Essure was going in the exact perpendicular direction. It wasn't parallel in the tube. Looks like it was crossing over the tube, which I thought looked a little weird. I couldn't tell. I thought maybe it was a vein or something, but it didn't look right. And so, and I'll show you that right now. Hang on just a second. All right, so try to get it. So you see the tube comes off right here, and this little dark patch, kind of that knuckle right there, right up over the edge, right here. That's actually the Essure going in the exact opposite direction. So instead of coming down into the tube, it's going sideways, which isn't normal. So what happened was I cut into the tube to see the coil. So this is the actual coil, and it's going in this direction instead of out into the tube. The tube is right here coming off. It's not even in the tube. So I'm guessing what happened with this poor lady was that they put it in the ostia, with the opening, and they pushed it even though it didn't want to go. That is what you would call a bad insertion, not a migration. So again, when we look over here, you can see the coil, that dark kind of line that's going perpendicular to the tube, which is coming off the left side there. And then if you cut that little piece open right here, you can see that there's a coil going in the wrong direction. So what that tells me is that this poor lady had a bad insertion. But my point being is, if I hadn't done 800 of these removals, I wouldn't have the experience to get that one out. And that one wasn't easy. So what it was is, instead of just being a long coil down the tube, is it was all just bunched up in the corner of her uterus, just like a big mass of bunched up metal. And so in order to get around that, I had to cut all the way around it. And then there was a piece of it on the end that had actually broken off. I don't know if I have a picture of that, but a piece of it broke off at the very end. And I had to remove that piece because it had broken off. And I don't know if it was just because of the way that it was inserted, but yeah, a piece of it broke off during the removal or during the insertion. I don't know which one, but I had to get that out. The left tube, or the other tube, was actually kind of weird as well, but not near as weird as that one. So my point being is, if that's the first salpingectomy that your doctor is doing, or the third or the fourth, sometimes experience is the better part of valor. And I know a lot of women that are going to have salpingectomies done, and it's just one of those things where you can't just shortchange the experience of the surgeon. And I know that it's important because you only get one chance to do this right the first time. So if you are interested in removal, if you've been on the fence about removal, to come to Austin, it's one trip. We do everything on the phone prior to you getting here. I take all the insurance plans. The only plans I can't take basically are Medicaid outside of Texas, because those are state-specific plans. We have a cash plan that I've worked with the hospital on. So the surgery, hey Elsa, the surgery surgery schedule is filling up because it's end of the year and everybody's deductibles are met. But this is if you want a salpingectomy, make sure that you see somebody with expertise. I can tell you right now, there might be one or two doctors that might be doing it very similar to the way I do it. I know Ed Derone in Atlanta does it this way, the way that I do it, but I don't know if he takes insurance. I've heard of a Dr. Harkins in Pennsylvania that might be doing it this way, although I haven't seen one of his operative notes. He is apparently doing the partial cornuectomy. And there's nobody west of Texas that I'm aware of that does this procedure, or at least what I would consider doing it the right way. So you want to, again, make sure your surgeon knows what they're doing, make them draw a picture, make them do an x-ray before the case. If you're having a self-injectomy, make them do an x-ray during to make sure they got it all. Because even experienced surgeons can sometimes miss a piece, and that's where the x-ray comes in, because you can go back in and get it. And then if you haven't had an x-ray post-operatively and you had a self-injectomy, I would demand an x-ray just to make sure. If they tell you they don't want to order one, ask them why, because that's ridiculous. And if you can't find anybody to order one, call my office. We'll put it in the comments here. The office phone is 512-956-0296, and you can talk to either Maddie or Kim. We'll get you in as soon as possible, and we'll try to get you surgery done by the end of the year if you've met your deductible. I think that the number one reason for having the coils removed is that you want them removed. I think that if you came in with an IUD and you told the doctor that you wanted your IUD out, we would take it out. And I think that the same should go for Essure. Unfortunately, it's a surgical process, unlike an IUD, which is easy to remove. The Essure isn't. But I think it's patient dependent. If you want it out, then we should try to take it out for you. So ask questions in the thread if you have them. Share this video. This poor lady's obviously going to feel better now. Bad insertion, hard removal, but we got it done.